Hey guys, how we doing? Welcome to another video with me, Crazy Skin Dog. And today we are at Lydd kart track, as you can see behind me there. Hopefully the karts in the background aren't too loud and you can actually hear me. I've been out for practice and quali. Forgot to do the recording before that. And yeah, this track is fun. It's fast, it's flowing. Overtaking is harder than it looks. It's nice and wide, but you don't brake hard very often. So it's a bit of a challenge one in that aspect. I struggled with a couple of corners. I bought Nicky Richardson's track guide, so I was following advice in that, but he's a much better driver than me, so I didn't manage to pull off all of the tricks and all of the kind of optimum lines. The two corners at each end are a bit of a problem for me at the moment. The hairpin down the bottom you see behind me there, I'm just carrying too much speed through it. I think I'm sliding out halfway round and not getting good drive out of it. And then the corner at the end, I'm probably braking too late. I think I'm braking where Nicky says to brake, but obviously he's got a lot more talent than me. Yeah, so practice I was 12th fastest the first 10 minutes of the session, and then the second 10 minutes of quali, and I actually qualified 21st, which is a little bit disappointing. Got a little bit of an aim of kind of 15th and higher for myself in these things, and obviously after the high of qualifying P2 at Buckmore, although that is a track that I know, is a little bit of a disappointment. But it is what it is. We've got two races, they're 20 minutes each, and there's plenty of time to have some fun. Also, hopefully make a better video for you guys, more interesting with some overtakes, fingers crossed, and not me getting overtaken too much. The mid-pack's going to be crazy. There's 37 karts on track. Yeah, it's going to be chaos, I am sure. Hoping to just survive those first few laps. There's a dip in the floor there. I'm hoping to survive those first few laps, not get caught up in any incidents. See where that puts us and then settle in, try and make some moves. And yeah, get some progress going. But we'll jump into that and see how that one goes.
Okay everybody, so here we are, race 1 of round 2 of the Club 100 Experience, and we're at Lydd today, as I said in the intro, as we see somebody that ended up out of sync there trying to get back into their starting place. And yeah, 37 kart grids today. Poor qualifying put me 21st, but the 10-minute practice showed me I had potential to be in the top 15. So I'm hoping to move forward early in this race, make advantage of some chaos, and yeah, see what goes. So here we go, the lights go green. We see the guy in front breaks the tram lines, dragging me with him a little bit with the bumpers getting caught. But yeah, that's against the rules, and he's lost out anyway, so we've made up a place there, nice and easy at the start. Now it's a bit chaotic, so we're just trying to survive at this point. We don't want anybody wiping us out, so we see we get nudged to the side there, and then we end up nudging this guy in front with this many karts trying to filter through these chicanes at the start. There's contact galore, none of it malicious, it's just the way it is. And as we see, because I didn't have the inside line, I've lost one position and then a second position. So we take a defensive line into the third chicane, because this track is basically 2 wide hairpins and 3 chicanes and then a bunch of straights. And we see they pull away a little bit going into this final corner, and we see that guy slides and we catch right up behind him, but because the corners are so fast, that mistake doesn't really hurt too much, because whilst he lost some momentum, there's just no gap or no opportunity to send it up the inside on him. And yeah, so we continue for another lap and we catch up again mid-corner, but there's a tyre barrier there stopping us making a move, and we have to back out of that one, and that costs us a kart length or so. And we see them battling ahead. He's got up the inside there, so we're going to take advantage of that and follow him through, but that means we take a real shallow line into there, miss the apex by a mile, take a real tight line into the left hand part, which really compromised all of our speed. Luckily there's a yellow flag on this final corner that bails us out there, and we see the instance clear, so we get back on the throttle nice and quick, although I catch a bit of slide mid-corner, which means I lose all of that progress I gained on the guy in front. And so now we're a few kart lengths back, and there's a bit of a train ahead, so we're hoping they're going to battle and give us an opportunity to get stuck in and see if we can't make some moves as we go a bit wide there. Yeah, I'm noticing how terrible my lines were. Must be defending here because that's a middle of the road line, and yeah, definitely must be defending here from where I'm holding my position. But we're going to go for this one at the optimal line, and yeah, it's not too bad. Feeling alright through that corner, to be honest, but just getting a little bit of slide every now and again. And we haven't caught up on the guys in front, but let's see if they start battling. And that's all right there. I'm happy with that last corner on that one. I got a contact warning there. Yeah, it's all good. There's a lot of contact at the start. I don't think I wasn't being malicious in any way. And as we see now, they start battling. We're going to catch right up to them, round the outside of that guy, but he's going to get better drive. So we're going to try and go up the inside. We're going to try and follow this guy up the inside of him, round this corner. But again, because all the corners are such high speed, there's no braking zone for you to kind of outbrake them into. And this one again, like, there's no opportunity there because we're all at full throttle. And as we see there, I catch him mid corner, but again, no place to overtake around that right hander. He goes defensive down the straight. We're just going to maintain our line. He gets a bit of a slide. We catch right up, but then again, just because there's no massive braking zone there, even though he slid and I caught right up, there's no difference in momentum, or not enough difference in momentum, as we see he's fiddling with his helmet there, so he must have loose there. We're hoping that's going to distract him enough for us to get past him, but I think at the moment it's clear that he's holding us up from this battle in front. We're faster than him, and there's a battle going on ahead. As we see, the camera actually fell down, and I managed to spin later in the race. Yeah, I clipped that a bit early, but the camera, despite being up as tight as it would go, had flopped back, and as we see, I try to switch back on this guy after fixing the camera after my spin, and don't quite get it done. So yeah, the camera just dropped back. I pinched a brake going into this second hairpin here, second chicane here, and spun out. It's something I need to work on in these karts. I do end up pinching brakes as we go up the inside, around the sweeping right hander here. Nice move there. We just carried that momentum through the second chicane, and luckily we were just far enough back that we could catch him at the right point and not too early. As we go defensive into there, miss the apex, take this far too tight as a result, and can't get as good drive as I would hope out of that corner. And then coming down the straight, is he going to send it again? He is going to send it again, but he's going to oversend it. We're going to stay under control, and we're going to undercut him back and maintain that position. So that's twice he's absolutely sent it up the inside, but I know I'm faster than him, so I don't think I need to worry too much. So I'm just head down at this point, focusing on trying to catch the guys ahead. Obviously that spin at the start cost me a whole load of positions, so yeah, this is just damage limitation at this point. Score as many points as we can. And also, I haven't mentioned yet, but they did change the rules to the fastest lap of race 1 sets the qualifying positions for race 2. So it's all still to play for in terms of race 2 qualifying. As we come down the straight here, feeling no need to defend. Oh, we do defend a little bit, but as we turn in, he just goes to send it again and pitches us straight into the bark trap there. As we see, the marshal wastes no time in calling that penalty in, because that was a penalty all day long. And we see a nice strong marshal there helping us get the cart. These bark traps were real tar pits. The cart just like dug into the ground and was hard to get out, and these carts aren't light, and as you see, we get the back end onto the concrete and the marshal helps me spin the front end round. And then as part of the rules, we have to bucket out all of the wood chips so that we're not spreading it all over the track, so that wastes even more time. I hop on in the cart, get the engine restarted, and start to pull away, sticking to the outside here because I can see the fields all coming through, and having already spun, being put out into the bark trap there, as you see it all flying past the camera. And I readjust the camera again. You can see on the right hand side there, they've wasted no time in giving that guy a penalty for an absolutely ridiculous move, to be honest. There's no two ways about it. It was never on. The corner's too fast to send it up the inside unless you're already alongside before turning, and it happened a lot in this event, as you will probably see in a few moments time, spoiler alert. Yeah, it happened a lot, just people looking at gaps and thinking they're on when it totally wasn't, because there's no braking zone there. And yeah, so as you see, I get a slide on round there. We got nice slippery tyres covered in bark. They've gone cold, so we've got to try and warm them up. I've gone defensive this time, and then as I turn in again, I get pitched around. And unfortunately for Rupert, he tries to go around the instant and ends up just sliding right into me, launching the front end of my car into the air. And my GoPro has decided to fall forwards this time instead of backwards, and it's not been a good race for the GoPro or the car. Yeah, 2 incidents in 2 laps where I've just been taken out in that corner. I wasn't wildly off the pace, it was just 2 stupid moves from other drivers thinking there's a gap on when there really isn't, because you're always going to turn in at that point. So even though it looks like there's a gap, it's just never happening. And then a couple of laps later, we see the final lap board. Thankfully, we can see the camera's already starting to give up again. The angle's falling back again. That mount was done up as tight as it would go, so it just shows how physical this track is. You really ride all of these curbs, and they are massive. So yeah, it's a real physical track. Lots of bouncing, lots of vibrations. And despite being on a very flat part of land, there is quite a bit of undulation. As you see, there's a little crest there, and yeah, those curbs really batter you as you ride over them. And then yeah, last lap we see another yellow flag. But after 2 trips to the barrier, well, the gravel bark pit, and a spin myself, that is, I believe, my first ever last place finish in a competitive kart race. Down 2 laps, mostly due to trying to recover the kart from the bark. And as we circle around here, we hit a massive stone, which clunks all the way down the other side of the kart. Yeah, the track's fun. It's just like Three Sisters in Wigan, if you've watched my SRK video on that. Fun track to hot lap round. Terrible track for racing. And as we see, I see the marshal here, I call him over, and I did try and increase the volume here, but you can't hear it over the engine sounds. I just asked him if either of those incidents were my fault, because I'm here to learn after all, and I want to know if I've done something wrong, if I should be defending hard, or if I've, spun out myself. He said, no, nothing done wrong by me.
Okay guys, so that was race 1. Yeah, what can I say, obviously quali was poor, so starting mid-pack was always going to be interesting. I think the first half of the race was alright. I made some places up, probably could have made some more. Got some moves done, some more that I could have made that I didn't quite get done. I feel like I was faster than a couple in front for a large section of that. And then, yeah, obviously chasing hard. Made a little bit of a mistake, entirely on me. That first one, I pinched the brakes, spun, and unfortunately collected somebody else. Yeah, that wasn't ideal. But then head down, started to work back through, trying to make some places back up after losing so much to a spin. And then I don't know how much of you saw of it, because I was trying to rearrange the camera after the first incident. So you might have just seen sky. But yeah, ended up in the bark on the outside of the last 2 corners twice. I checked with the marshals, neither was my fault. Just people making silly moves that were never on. It's not a very big braking point, that one, and I'm carrying as much speed as mostly everybody else through there, so it's not like I was super slow and they're trying to send it. They're just sticking their nose in a gap that's never going to stay open, and they were nowhere near alongside. So yeah, I assume both got penalties. There was a lot of penalties given out in that heat, as you see if you follow my Instagram. There was a lot of penalties. I think it was 6 or 8 penalties, all but 2 were for contact, so I think it was 6 contact and advantage penalties. So yeah, a bit messy, but then again, it is the experience, it is the novice class. Most of these people, including me, haven't raced these Club 100 karts much, if at all. Good fun though, pace felt alright. I got down into the 45, so it was much faster than the quali session, and the kart felt better than the quali session one. Brakes were a bit more responsive, not locking so much, despite me locking up into the chicane there. But yeah, just an eventful one, hopefully a fun one for you guys to watch. If not the result I wanted, finished dead last, 2 laps down, mostly thanks to having to pick up the cart with the marshal to get it out of the gravel. Yeah, it was a bit of a mess, but because of that change that I mentioned in the last video, our fastest lap from race 1 sets the grid for race 2. So thankfully my race 2 isn't ruined by 2 other people's lack of talent, for lack of a better way of putting it. So yeah, because if it had been the old way, I'd be starting from the back of the grid on this one, and through no fault of my own, be very, very compromised. Whereas I believe I've set the 12th, 13th fastest lap in that race, so we'll start further up than we did the last one, upper mid pack still. So we'll see what chaos happens, see what we can get done, see if we can't make some more moves and get a decent finish out of this one. If I am 12th or 13th in a top 10 finish would be fantastic, but we'll aim to not go backwards, and yeah, we'll catch you after that one.
Okay then guys, race 2, and I believe I was 14th. Try and count back from the guys in front, but yeah, I'm pretty sure I was 14th, as unfortunately the pack slows much faster than I expected there, and I give Rupert a right bump up the rear, so sorry for that, Rupert, that was completely accidental. These rolling starts can be challenging, especially in these rookie classes where not everybody is used to them, but we come round, and I've already noticed this car is a bit slow on pickup, so hopefully that won't hurt us too much. As we see the lights go green and we're racing, we catch up a little bit, there's a gap to the right, so we're going to take that, we're going to dive right up that right hand side, because we learned from the first race that the right hand side is super important in this section. But you see I just don't get any drive out of that chicane, and Rupert just glides on round the outside of me and up the inside of that guy there, so we're going to try and use Rupert as our battering ram around the right. We just can't seem to catch up out of the corner. We catch up mid-corner there, and it just pulls away out the corner. Yeah, I'm not doing too much different to what I was in the first race. I'm pretty sure I had this car Buckmore in qualifying, not qualifying because I had an amazing qualifying, in one of the races, because yeah, the front nose bit is kind of like snapped in half and then cable tied back together. And I'm sure not too many karts have that. As you've seen, I've been overtaken again. Yeah, I seem to remember it being a bit boggy from there, so maybe this one's just a bit slow on the lower end. And this is a track where you really need that momentum. As you can see, I'm just falling right off. My lap times are appalling in comparison to quali and race 1, so I'm not sure what's gone on here. As we see, I'm tight with somebody going up the inside there, and that compromises my line through this third chicane. And yeah, as we get on the straight, you just look at that, it's just pulling away, so I'm having to go defensive here. Still get overtaken up the inside, but do manage to undercut him as he slightly overshot that. Going defensive here into turn 1, turn in, and somebody else, I can't believe it, somebody else with an absolutely stupid dive. That was the worst of the 3. I don't know what he was thinking sticking his nose up there. He'd have been able to see that I had a cart on my left. I'm already halfway turned in, and then I just get pitched round. Just a clumsy mistake, and that is another race ruined. And yeah, unfortunately from there, guys, this race is kind of not even worth watching. I'm not going to subject you to it, because it's me driving around missing a lot of apexes at a very poor speed. I just couldn't get on top of this cart, I couldn't get it to get out the corners, and I'm right at the back of the field now. The leaders catch me up and just start lapping me for fun. And yeah, so we'll jump forwards to the end of the race, and yeah, we can see there's some karts around us now, at least, as somebody goes flying through without even trying, although I do catch him back up mid-corner. But we'll see as we get on the straight, it just disappears. We're obviously both flat out, and he's just still pulling away. So yeah, unfortunately, the final lap. I just enjoyed driving around. The track is fun, as I said, to hot lap, so that's just how I took this second race after that incident early on. And yeah, I think as it turns out, it wouldn't have been a great result anyway without that incident. I just couldn't keep anybody behind, as I couldn't get out the corners. Well, I don't know if that's due to me not driving efficiently enough or due to the kart being a bit boggy at the lower end, not sure. Because all these karts are fantastic. I'm sure there'll be another track we go to, and this kart will be near the top of the grid, because you don't need that lower end. You need the to maintain it through the corners. You see, I go defensive, and yeah, we don't see it because it's all behind me. We had a nice battle on this last lap. The guy actually came up and shook my hand after, said nice defending, good fun battle. So we did have at least one good lap. The first couple of laps were good as well until the incident, and it was all fun. At the end of the day, it's the Club 100 experience. It's my first time, first season racing in these karts, my first time at this track. It's all a learning experience this year. The results don't really matter. It would be nice to get one or two good results, and I've shown flashes of decent pace in my first 2 rounds, so hopefully we can get something going as the season goes on, and I get to learn some new tracks. It'll be interesting when we go back to Buckmore later in the year, but yeah, we'll not bother with the results for this one, because I got a last place 2 laps down and a 30th out of 37 in race 2. It put me something like 32nd overall out of the 37, and nobody's interested in me being at the back of the grid. Hopefully the video was entertaining for you guys, and hopefully you enjoyed watching it. Rye House is coming up next, and yeah, I hope to see you there if you are there. Shout out to everybody from the Wheel to Wheel community WhatsApp group. Sorry to you guys for being an absolute plonker on the day and just totally not recognising you when you said hi in the morning. And then also I think I shout out these guys as well, but Nick and then the Karting Bros guys as well. Shout out to you guys, both all super sound. Thanks for chatting to me throughout the day, and yeah, just growing that group of people I speak to here. Will as well messaged me before the event. It was great to hang out. So yeah, just building that group of people to hang out with at these events is the reason we do it. It's fantastic. So shout out to all you guys. Thank you very much for making me feel welcome and enjoy my time here, even if the on track isn't going great. So we'll jump into my outro thoughts, and then that'll be the end of the video. Thank you very much for watching. See you in the next one. Okay guys, how we doing? So that was race 2. Bit messy as you saw. Another incident. Don't think that one was my fault either. I'll check back the footage, see if they got a penalty or not. But yeah, frustrating again. Obviously I had some pace, but pretty boring race after that, to be honest. There wasn't much going on. I couldn't really keep up to anybody. The leaders came through. I think it was the leaders anyway, I don't know, might have been other faster drivers. Again, I'll check the timing and see, but yeah, that car felt like I couldn't get out of the corners very well, and it showed in the times, which was quite a lot slower. So a little bit of a frustrating one, but still good fun, which is what it's about at the end of the day. And it's always fun to drive these cars. They're absolutely fantastic. And again, everybody here is great. It's great to just meet new people. Obviously, I don't know anybody here. None of the other racers are people that I've spoken to. Oh, sorry, Rupert. Rupert obviously races, so it's nice to catch up with Rupert. But then also just nice to meet some other new racers. Shout out to Will, Nick, those guys. They've been great. Nice to just have a little chat all day today, hang out a bit, see how each other getting on, you know, just all the good stuff, the reason we do it basically. So yeah, frustrating on the results. I think I was 30th, 29th after an exclusion in that second race. I'll put the final results up and everything, but yeah, results frustrating, but great fun. It was very hard to overtake. Very much like if you watch my SRK videos, very much like Three Sisters in Wigan. Very fast flowing, fun track to drive, but the racing is just a bit, yeah.
There's no real good overtaking points, and there's lots of points where you can get wiped out, as you saw. It looks like there's a move on, but the door is never open, even though it looks like it is, because there's no heavy braking point, and just a little tap on your rear corner and around you go, and off you fly, which is exactly what happened multiple times today. So yeah, a little bit frustrating one, but we'll dive into those results and see how it all went and all of that. And I can't wait for the next round. I'm not even sure where the next one is. I know it's not Buckmore again yet, but yeah, can't wait to get in these cars again. It's great fun, and yeah, it's the Novice Experience Championship, isn't it? So there's going to be varying levels of skill and speed, and yeah, everybody's learning, so try not to be too frustrated at anybody in particular. But yeah, that'll do it for this vlog, I think, and it was a wonderful day all day, as you can see.